Well, I have done this. You're ready to go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Warren County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, August 6th, and I would invite everybody to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any agenda deletions? Hearing none, we'll take roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Here.
Peter?
Here.
Snell?
Here. On the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items A through N?
Yes.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. Item number 2, which is claims, and looking at the claims, they're about $756,000 is what it is roughly, and it's kind of interesting because you have to say, okay, what's the big number? The big number is the assessor's office. They've got over $300,000 of that $700 for Vanguard, so that just kind of stood out.
So when those big payments come through,
Yeah.
we have big cash flow months and low cash flow months.
Yeah, exactly.
What's causing this number? Those big payments that we
Yep,
make.
yep. So, other than that, are there any questions or
I'll make a
issues?
motion to approve claims?
Second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. Item number 3 is to consider the Warren County isolation and quarantine policy and procedures with possible action. This is an annual thing that we have to do, and it's primarily state of Iowa driven. And as you can see, the health administrator and the Board of Health chairperson have both signed off on this. Any questions about it?
No?
Do I have a motion to approve the isolation and quarantine policy and procedures as presented?
Motion to approve the Warren County isolation and quarantine policies and procedures as presented in our packet today.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. Now, on to number 4, which is consider approval of temporary easement between Donald and Velma Turner and the Warren County for project number BROS-C091-140, etc., with possible action.
Hi, this is for a bridge replacement project on 180th south of G76. We're almost to the final plan stages, and we need a little bit extra room to shape ditches and construct the bridge. This is kind of a standard agreement. This is only going to be a temporary easement. Most of the cost is going to come from, we're going to have to tear out their fences to help reshape the ditches and stuff. And after meeting with the power of attorney with them, that they would rather, and it's easier for us too, if we pay them for the fence and they construct the fence instead of having to be the middleman between the owner and the contractors. So that's the route we wanted to go on this project.
Any further questions?
No complaints on the scene? Yeah, it's mutually beneficial, no issues with any neighbors or anything like that?
No, they own both sides of the road, and they do cattle too, so their fence, a lot of times the cattle farmer's a little more particular about their fence, so we want to make sure they get the fence that they want, so.
Sounds good. I have no other questions.
Do you have any questions? No. Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the temporary easement between Donald and Velma Turner and Warren County for the project listed.
Do I have a
Second?
roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. Item number 5. Tim, I assume you're going to deal with this one too. Item number 5 is to consider federal aid agreement for a county highway bridge program project between the Iowa Department of Transportation and Warren County as listed.
This is a standard document anytime we want to use federal money for bridge projects or HPP funds. We've estimated the total eligible cost to be $900,000. This, by you guys agreeing to this document, states that we're going to follow the right procedures and documentation, do everything we need to be required, and this will be 100% federally funded.
Any further questions?
No? This is good.
What program, what federal program is this?
Highway Bridge Program.
Okay, all right. Nice thing.
Yep.
Any further questions?
No questions, no. I'll make a motion to approve, approving the federal aid agreement for County Highway Bridge Program project number BROS-C091, parent 142, 5F-91 between the Iowa Department of Transportation and Warren County.
Second?
Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye. Item number 6 is discussion regarding a letter of support and financial support for up to $154,000 for Woodland Mound State Preserve Resource Enhancement and Protection Grant with possible action. Zach, would you like to tell us about this?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. The Warren County Conservation Board is requesting support from the County Board of Supervisors to help protect Woodland Mound State Preserve. The County Conservation Board is trying to acquire an adjacent property to our 185 public acres. This project is a necessity due to cultural protection to the Native American burial mounds and natural habitat composition. There's been, I suppose, a significant number of surveys that were conducted in 2007 through 2009 to kind of study those properties. And in order to maximize our efforts, we are pursuing a resource enhancement and protection grant from the state of Iowa. These REAP grants, that's the acronym for Resource Enhancement and Protection, are incredibly competitive, and the more support we can get from our communities and partners, the stronger our grant application becomes. I mean, they have hints listed on the criteria, and community and partners are one of the primary points. Warren County Conservation Board is putting in $155,000, not including appraisal costs, and our grant request, if we go to the table right now with our current funding levels, it'd be $650,000. Therefore, we would like to have the Board of Supervisors approve of at least a letter of support to show the community is behind us on this project, but then to also consider a financial request of $1,000 per acre, which would total $154,000 in grant support for our project. Now, that suggestion is based on my experience from previous projects that I've worked on. So, if you guys are willing to support us, that could drop our request down significantly, and if we place in first or second, we could get funded. So that's where the proposal's coming from. There, again, it's incredibly competitive, no grant is guaranteed, but this kind of shows that the community is behind us.
What has been the relationship, the relationship with the current property in Warren County Conservation? Has it been under lease or anything like that?
Yes, so the neighboring property to the east of Woodland Mound State Preserve has been under lease for quite a few years. There's been some urgency to push us to acquire this due to the family's requests that I won't announce in public just to protect their rights. So this is our best opportunity that we have to turn it into permanent public protected areas.
And could you talk about just the designation of the mound site by the state of Iowa and what that is and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
significance of that?
So the Woodland Mounds was designated by the State Preserves Board as a state preserves. There are specific criteria that management board designated that area to make sure that it is culturally and naturally significant to the community. So I can't tell you exactly what the State Preserves Board criteria was, but Woodland Mounds is such a unique area that it classified, and it eventually was signed by the governor to become a state preserve. So not only does it have the Native American burial mounds, the natural composition, but it's gone through a social process to be approved and protected.
And then this property that we're talking about today is adjacent to this.
Correct.
And it's actually been under lease by Warren County for decades, as I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So basically now we would take on the ownership project. Just to clarify, the current mound site, which is not the one that we're going to purchase, that's already owned by Warren County, is that correct?
That is correct. So the current burial mounds on Woodland Mound State Preserve is 50 feet away from the neighboring property that we're trying to acquire. So the state archaeologist has stated, they wrote us a support letter saying internments of burial, Native American burial archaeological artifacts, they're not just in the mounds, they're in the flat areas surrounding the mounds. So if we have a property line that's 50 foot away from these Native American burial mounds, it's very, very likely that there are internments on the land we're trying to acquire.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Unique opportunity here. Are there any questions?
No, no questions from me, and I'm in support of both requests, the letter and the monetary commitment on behalf of Warren County to potentially get this grant. So I'm in favor.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, and I
don't have any questions. I didn't
yeah,
mean to.
no, that's fine. I think that from the financial side of it, I'm very willing to go with the request amount of $154,000, and one of the things that we had talked about was where would we come up with those resources, and we do have some ARPA funds that are potentially available to be reallocated for this purpose. So I would be in favor of using those ARPA funds along with general fund money otherwise to come up with a total of $154,000. Would anybody like to make that motion, or else I can go ahead and make that motion?
Okay.
Not only, we want to do the resolution for the financial support, but I think also the letter as well. We've drafted a letter here, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to sign off on this letter.
Sure.
Okay, I would move that we draft a letter as presented in our packet today in support of the acquisition of this land, and that we would, in that letter, it would state that we would go up to $1,000 per acre of financial support along with that. And the resolution, let's do both of these separately. So the first thing is the letter of support.
Okay.
And I move that we do the letter of support as stated here in our packet. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye. Now, item number 2 then in the same area would be the resolution approving the letter of support and financial support for the Woodland Mound State Preserve REAP grant. I would move that the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves writing a letter of support and offers financial support for Woodland Mound State Preserve Resources Enhancement and Protection Grant. Financial support is not to exceed $154,000, utilizing no more than $73,000 of remaining ARPA funds and no more than $81,000 from the general fund. I would move that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye. Okay. You have what you need?
Thank you. I appreciate your support, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, going on to item number 7, consider secondary remodel contract with possible action. Jamie, are you going to help us?
Good morning.
Talk through this?
So we made a few changes. Don, Doug, and I talked through Downing's proposal. Numbers didn't change. They did come back and offer, which you can choose to initial if you want, replacing the flooring and paint throughout your current space so that when health services moves over, it's new carpet and new paint. They would do that a cost of an additional $15,500. The original contract just includes them putting up the wall and painting that wall to make it a exam room for health services. So the original contract is $159,763. We did set up that the NTE is $1220.24, so that gives us time to get the furniture set up and installed.
So, hold on, I'm sorry, I missed that, Jamie. And what did you refer to?
Not to exceed date of 12/20/24.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, thank you.
You're
That's all I
welcome.
need.
Michaela? I don't have a copy of this.
I just got it from him late last night, so
Okay.
there's the copy.
Could we make copies of that real quick before we go any further? We'll pause for just a little bit here.
So in this remodel, I did reach out to all potential supervisors who are running and asked them to weigh in and give their opinion. So I thought some might write letters, but I don't see any letters to the board for their opinion on the remodel. So.
Oh.
And I think there are some here who may be here to voice theirs.
Did the county attorney's office review the contract in its entirety?
Yes.
And so you're bringing that as a recommendation as reviewed by the attorney's office?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Madden, St. Mary's. I would request that you hold off on voting on this until you hear open comments here just a little bit later. That would be my request.
Yeah. Right.
So, but, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Conversation, yeah, absolutely. Oops, 2 pages?
There's 2 pages, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So on page 2, in the middle of the page, that's the original contract that the Facilities Committee presented to you guys at the work session last week for $159,763. And then in talking with Tyler from Downing, they added option 1 to replace the flooring and paint your current space for health services. If you decide to do that, you just have to initial there. There is an additional cost for that of $15,500. Otherwise, it was just minimal changes. We changed the NTE, we changed payment to 45 calendar days, asked that they provide their insurance information. Pretty much that was it for changes.
So oh, excuse me.
Well, I mean, the question is, do we want to replace the floor and the paint in the
supervisor's area for health services. That's really kind of the option, correct?
That's the add-on, yeah. And I would say that we had talked to him when we did the walkthrough, and he went ahead and added it. But in thinking through the long-term plan, the facilities committee would probably say wait until you decide, we figure out exactly what's going to go into that space, because it's not awful
No.
right now.
It isn't.
So save that 15.5 for now, until we figure out who's going to go into that space and how it'll be utilized.
So then the base contract up through the total 159,763 is what we had previously discussed.
Correct.
And what the facilities committee had gone through and recommended.
Correct.
Got it. I don't have any questions. I think I would tend to agree, let's just do what we had talked about and not the additional. I'm not in favor of doing the option one at this time. I think I'd hold off on that.
I'm okay with that.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Thank you.
This is if you decide to sign today.
Okay.
That's the copy that I'll leave back.
We'll see here. Are there any other comments from other people about this? I gathered there was a comment. This is the time to talk about this if you want to talk about it.
Good morning.
Yeah.
My name's Eric Martins. My address is 706 North 14th Street in Indianola. I would like to start off by saying that I greatly respect the job each of you is here to do. You've taken a huge commitment, one that I imagine is rewarding but often a thankless job. Appreciate the dedication each of you have given in your efforts to best represent Warren County and our citizens. Sincerely, thank you. I've come before you today to address the discussion taking place regarding the remodeling of the Board of Supervisors' current office space. The price tag that accompanies it and the lack of additional ideas and/or options I have seen presented over the last several weeks. As a taxpayer citizen of Warren County and current supervisor candidate, I'm concerned that we are spending a large amount of money on changes that don't seem necessary. How often will all 5 supervisors be in the offices at the same time? Could a rotating office hour schedule be put in place, allowing supervisors to share the space of the 3 existing offices? There are conference rooms just outside of the boardroom doors. Could those be used if everyone needed space at the same time? This room itself sits empty quite a bit of the time. Could it too provide additional space when needed? I believe $159,000 is a significant amount of money to spend on a problem that may not need to be fixed. If I'm elected, I plan to spend as little time in the office as possible. I want to put my feet to the pavement per se, to spend time out in the community within our communities within Warren County, where I can see the problems our residents are facing and address them head on. With technology available today, an office can be anywhere you find yourself. I know Jamie has spent quite a bit of time on this project, and I appreciate her time and efforts as well, but I personally do not believe moving forward with this remodel project, especially with the price tag attached to it, is in our county's best interest. I think this is an issue that can and should be addressed by the upcoming new board. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I appreciate your service and tenure to our county and the people who call it home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak?
Good morning. Mark Matledge, 4293 Nevada Street, St. Mary's. Just being made aware of this in the last week. I don't know the dimensions of the office. Most offices are like a 10 by 12, so let's assume that's a total of 250 square feet. At $159,000, that equates to $660 a square foot to remodel. A brand new house costs around $200 to $220 a square foot to build, okay? I could name you, I don't know how many contractors were made aware of this proposal, but you can get this done for a fraction of that. I mean, a fraction. So the $159,000 seems quite egregious. I just don't see, a few years ago, you could even build a whole house for that. So I think there would be more than adequate time from the date of the election to when the new people come on, that this could be postponed until a later time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, is there any more conversation, thoughts from the board members?
I think everything's been said.
Okay, do we have a motion to move forward with the contract as presented, and which portions of the contract? I'd be willing to move that we go with the contract as presented without option 1 in the amount of $159,763. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
No.
Peter.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye. And now we'll move on to the next item. Consider a future budget amendment item with possible action. Megan, are you?
I think this was just for,
It's a facilities manager's increase in salary.
Oh, yeah, okay.
yep.
Okay,
So it
that's
wasn't me, but it's just the agreed upon amount to be added to the
Right.
auditor's budget.
Right, okay, got it. This was to facilitate the hiring of the new facilities manager. So I would, any questions, first of all, about the budget amendment for that
No
purpose?
question about this.
Okay. I would move that we approve the future budget amendment for the auditor in the amount of $75,000, excuse me, $7,500 for the facilities manager's salary. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
No.
Peter.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye. And then next item here is receive and file reports. We have reports from General Assistance, Humane Society, and Veterans Affairs. Any,
Motion to receive and file the reports as listed.
Second?
roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye. Now we have supervisors' reports. Would you like to go first?
No, thank you.
Okay. Darren, do you have anything you want to say? And I really don't either. So we'll pass on that. Now we're at item number 11, which is public input. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual. The board will not take action on the comments due to the requirements of the open meetings law, but may do so in the future. No public input will be allowed for any of today's agenda items. Is there anybody that'd like to address public input? Please state your name and your
Bill
address.
Bosch. I live at 7323 R57 Highway. I need to clear up some statements I made in the last supervisors meeting on July 16, 2024. These statements were based on information I received from the zoning department about my wanting to see the moratorium that they were using enforcing zoning and building codes I couldn't find anywhere. I went to the recorder's office and they had nothing on file of the moratorium. I went to the zoning department. The administrator gave me 2 documents. Ordinance 476Z, and it stated this ordinance shall be in effect May 5th, 2023 for no longer than 90 days, August 5th, 2023. And Resolution 23-137, this stated the same thing. I believe it was natural for me to assume that this information from the zoning department was correct, and that the moratorium was only temporary. So I apologize to Lindy Bachman, Warren County Zoning Director, for my statements, but they were based on information that I received from the director's office. I then emailed her on July 23rd about wanting to sell two 2-acre lots based off the original zoning. Can you come in for a meeting on Tuesday at 1 o'clock to discuss your property and what you will need to move forward? Yes, I will be there at 1. Great, glad to see you. This was nothing less than a setup. There was a dozen people waiting for me from basically every department administrator in Warren County, including a lawyer. Had I known what this meeting was really about, I would have brought the necessary documentation for proof of what I was saying was true. They mostly hit me with everything that I had stated with you before in previous emails. The most disturbing and insulting questions came from the lawyer and a Tim. They had a photo album with 8x10 blown up photos of my home that's for sale off my MLS website. They were acting like a couple of junior high school boys looking at a Playboy magazine for the first time, saying, "Sure doesn't look like just a garage to me," even though it states right on the parcel that it has a 420 square foot attic space. And also, I had to confirm twice that it didn't have plumbing. They accused me of not letting the inspector look at my properties, and this is not true. I felt that the lawyer and Tim questioning me about actually telling them the truth to be agonizing. At this stage, they were tag teaming me, saying, "Oh, look at this, oh, look at that. This looks like a dishwasher." I said, "No, it's a mini refrigerator." "This garage has water." "No, that's the house." And it went on. I finally stated, if you're going to raise my taxes, just do it. Just stop this nonsense. Worse yet, the Warren County lawyer threatened me twice with lawsuits. He seems to be the only one who knew where this moratorium was located. This seems that I would have had to watch a full year of meetings on YouTube to get this information. I can't believe this is even sensible. Any questions? If I could have one more minute to say something positive.
Board members? Okay.
One more minute?
Sure.
Well, while I was waiting for this meeting, I seen all these people coming in. I started feeling kind of apprehensive, and Mark Snell walked down the aisle and said hi to me very graciously, and also said, "How you doing?" And it seemed sympathetic, and it really helped me out, and I appreciate it. And then during the meeting, it came up that, you were invited and didn't come, and that was completely honorable on your part, because it was a fiasco, and I thank you very much.
Wow.
Anybody else that would like to address the board? Public input? Seeing none, our next meeting date will be August 20th, 2024, 9:30 a.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Roll call.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snow.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.